Audio Jungle.
Hello to everyone, and this is myself Ramakant Pandey, and today we are going to meet Arijit Mitra. He is doing his doctoral studies from IIT Kharagpur. So I would like to welcome Arijit in this discussion.
Thank you very much for inviting me into this discussion with you. So I am Arijit Mitra, and I am currently pursuing my doctoral studies under the supervision of Professor Siddharth Das and Professor Subhashish Basumajumdar at IIT Kharagpur, and I am currently working in the field of lithium-ion batteries. My research is focused on finding new materials, developing new material chemistries in order to boost the performance of such systems.
How is the research environment in IIT Kharagpur?
We have been hit very hard by this pandemic actually, because as you know, I'm working on lithium-ion batteries and most of the samples are air sensitive. So due to this pandemic, I lost nearly 80% of my research which I was going to cover up, like all were air sensitive samples. So everything was almost lost. So luckily, and we also lost quite a lot of equipment as well, because the students were not there to maintain it, because we as a student, it's our responsibility to maintain our own labs. So we did lose a lot of equipment as well, but luckily things are progressing well right now, that we have been able to get back our lab to what it was before this pandemic, close to that. Let's say about 90% of our things, 70% of the things are back to normal. But still, the working hours and other things are still hit by this pandemic.
So tell me about your experience of your B.Tech and how this came up till PhD. At what time you decided to pursue PhD?
I think I was more inclined towards going into higher studies right from around second, third year itself. Now, if you would ask me that is it a right decision, I would say it's a right decision, because obviously higher studies, if you want to go, you enrich yourself with new and more different things. And the perspective which I gained, which I am currently gaining, actually I've gained also based on my past experience, is that everything is open actually. As you, like when we entered into the undergraduate level, we have been like branched out into different departments or different streams. Like someone has gone into computer science, someone has gone into electronics, some in metallurgy, some in aerospace, some in mechanical, some in biotech, all those other different streams. But when you try to converge it later on, when you move ahead and ahead into the higher studies, like you get your graduate and then you do your PhD, the department actually seems meaningless, because nowadays you use almost every tool which is available, which is the core tool which is used by some other department. You are also using it in your own field. So all the fields are right now mingled in, and that is the beauty of higher studies, that the more you learn, more you gain more perspective you gain into a particular subject, you realize that everything is correlated with each other. So undergraduate studies started with a different mindset, and the postgraduate studies have been started with a different mindset altogether. Like everything is related. You will, at the end of the day, you will come to know that.
Since your field is electrochemical battery storage, like, and you're working in that field.
Yeah, currently it is. Yeah.
Like what you're working in this field means some little bit of idea about this field.
I'm working, rather, I would say it's a very abstract topic as of now. The reason for that is because I am looking into new materials chemistry, that is different cathode materials or different anode materials or different electrolyte compositions, which have not yet been experimentally validated or looked into. And the reason why I'm saying experimentally validated is because you can easily do simulations with the current state of the art that are there. You can easily do simulations to identify suitable candidates. But based on my personal experience, the candidates which have been screened by computational modeling might not be a very good material which can be experimentally realized in the lab or in a particular industrial scenario. So I jumped directly into the experimental scenarios. I'm looking into very different kind of materials which are not being used, or which won't be used in near future as well in this field. But the reason why I chose such an abstract topic on such different materials than what are being conventionally used is because they are the best dummy materials to do the studies on, fundamental studies on. Because the problems that you will encounter with these materials are, you can easily generate solutions over them, and you can easily translate them into the real life materials which are being used in the batteries. For example, one of the materials that I'm investigating into are the vanadium-based cathode compounds. So they were being investigated back in 1980s, 1970s, but somehow nobody decided to use it because they had a lot of problems, lots of issues in this thing. So everyone then switched to nickel, manganese, and cobalt-based compounds altogether, and people are doing research over there only. People are coming up with different hypothesis that this might be the problem, or this might be the problem, or this might be the problem, X, Y, Z. But but what I feel after 5 years of research is that there is no concrete answer as to what is the problem. Everything is boiling down into some point of like, okay, this is a problem, but this might also be the problem. It's like an abstract thing which is going on currently in the battery field as well. Like, people are unable to pinpoint the problem. So that's the reason why I chose a material which was discarded back in 1970s, 1980s only, because while studying those problems on those materials, whatever solutions I can come up with, that can be easily translated into the real life systems as well. So this was the main idea behind the work that I am doing. That choose a material which has been discarded already. People might not accept it as of now as well, but who knows, whatever solution you come up with, that might just click with the real life system that people are accepting right now. So it's a bit unconventional as compared to what other researchers do in my field, that they take the material that is already well established and then boost that material's performance. I rather decided to choose a material that has been discarded altogether and work on that.
It's a very rare thing to do.
Yeah, so it's a bit risky. It's a very risky thing. I really face a lot of hardships publishing my work, because every time it boils down that this is who has been discarded altogether. But then if you look at the trend, I'm also hopeful, because if you look at the trend right now, people are coming back to the systems that have already been developed back in the 80s and 60s, 70s, 80s.
It's a whole
For
cycle.
example, the people are coming back to that whole thing.
The whole cycle
altogether.
is going on.
Yeah, because they know that whatever you discarded, maybe it's time to look back at where we made the mistake.
Automobile point of view. So how do you see, from your perspective, things are going in at what pace, in the right direction as per you, or it's going too fast, or it's a overall hype is being created, like the batteries in the automobile vehicles within the next 5 years or within the next 10 years, it will replace total fuel market. So how you see these trends? Since you are in this field, you might have gained ideas.
Electric vehicles will come. No matter what you do, people are going to invent better batteries. People are going to invent better electrochemical energy storage systems. And as the efficiencies and as the metrics gets improved with time, you would see that their applications are also going to come into the market. People are going to use that. So electric vehicles are going to come in the next 5 to 10 years with better batteries, with better storage systems. Now the question is, will you accept it? That is one of the major questions which will be there, which will be posed upon as a consumer as well. Why won't you accept it? Because let's say that innovation will come. The first product, let me pose it as an example over here, that the first prototype of the Apple product that came might not have been the best product, but over the years they have innovated it. So as of now, the batteries have a lot of issues that people are looking into, electric vehicle manufacturers are looking into. The main bottleneck is the batteries. They want better batteries. So right now they are just pushing the products into the market and they will be innovating it. Now it's up to the consumers to accept it. And luckily the support of the government is also there, that they want to push electric vehicles. They want to have a greener environment, like green economy. Green economy is there. Not say green economy exactly, but yeah, they want to reduce the carbon footprint.
Yes.
So that would be the correct term. So they want to reduce the carbon footprint. So that would be there. But that does not mean that you will be electrifying the whole thing. It also makes no sense that you will be, just because you have electric vehicles in the market, you would just discard all the gasoline-based vehicles over there, scooters and all. So there has to be a healthy balance between the two. Both of them will be there in the market. Both of them will compete with each other. Gasoline will have some benefits which are not given by the electric vehicles. Electric vehicles will have certain benefits which are not offered by the gasoline business. So there will be a healthy competition between them, and that's what I see in the future, that it will be there. One of them will not replace the other.
Like you got into your Ph.D. and then you applied for Prime Minister Research Fellowship.
Yes.
So how was that process, and how you got that fellowship, and was after getting that fellowship it made any difference in your way of working or attitude, please, or hold some more responsibilities? Did it made any changes in your working life or working ethics?
Me before Prime Minister PMRF and like as a normal research scholar, like anyone, there were no changes. I tend to come to lab at odd hours and work and this thing. So there was no change in the attitude over there. Regarding the process of the selection, it was in our, we were the first batch. So I think in our batch there were about 4,000 applicants, I'm not sure. And in all disciplines, including this thing, aerospace, physics, chemistry, etc., agriculture, 4,000 applicants were there, and I think it was restricted only to the IITs and NITs that time. And only 150 students were selected after rigorous interviews by their respective nodal institutes. So my interview was conducted by IIT Hyderabad. So I had to go there and give an interview in front of an unknown panel who would grill me on my CV, on my work, on my knowledge and this thing. And after that, I think they had some selection scheme or whatever internal part, and then internal discussions they had, different panels, and based on the interview, like we were actually selected.
Is there any change in the facilities which you have getting earlier and now, in terms of the financial support and the help in the time which usually takes for a PhD when he applies for some funds, and now what you are getting right now?
The funding situation for any PhDs is bad in India. That you have to also agree. So now coming back to the funding situation, that's actually a very interesting question, because you need funds to carry out your research, let's be honest. Without funds, you cannot do. So it's also, I believe that it's a part of a research scholar to write projects, get it approved from the supervisors, get them the funding so that you can also use the funds for your own research. And that process takes a long time. For example, the project that we were writing back in 2016 when I joined, it got approved in 2019. And then the ministries also released their fund late and other thing. So the whole process is right now, whatever work that I planned to do, I just got the equipment back, those equipment and those funds during this lockdown. So I'm just carrying it out near the end of my own PhD tenure. So that situation will always be there for any PhD who joins. And definitely research is something that you have to you have to do collectively. You have to build good connections. You have to build good rapport with your colleagues, good rapport with your supervisors, with their colleagues as well. So research is not something that you can do on your own. Yes, you can do it on your own, but only to some extent. And whatever ideas you have, you first polish them up to the point that you are happy with your work, and then you come get the feedback from the other researchers still working in a field. You have to be humble. You have to take their suggestions, even the criticisms. Do not take them to the heart and do not be listening that what that person is saying and something like that. They are well experienced in your field, because new researchers, they are like, we'll move mountains, we'll do this, we'll do that. So over the whole tenure, you will understand that this is not the case here. It's a very long process, and you have to be patient. Patience is something which you must not lose during your PhD time. You will be having a lot of failures, a lot. You have no idea. You will fail a lot of times, but you must not get disheartened with that. And you must continue with your beliefs. What you want to do.
Right.
A lot of PhDs, they get disheartened, they lose hope. By the end of 4th, 5th year, they're like, cannot do anything. You should not be that.
Right. It happens. It's a journey. Everyone has their own time.
It's a work experience, yeah. And definitely, you should one should look forward. One should get a very good grasp of their basics in the first 2-3 years of their PhD, so that you know that I want to do this. It's all planned out. It's all theoretically computed, everything. And by the end of 1 or 2 years, so 4th and 5th year, you just do get those particular experiments done. You know that you're going to achieve what you wanted in the first place. That should be the way a PhD should be done. And the PhD should be done in a way that you are boosting the field, boosting your field of research. You are putting something new knowledge into the system. So that should be the idea.
Many students used to ask, since in India research environment is not good and this and that, they used to get so many experience, and they just want to create an impression that doing PhD abroad is a very good option. Since a person like you who is having a very impressive record, you might have an option to go anywhere in the world, you can pursue PhD, but you choose to stay here and pursue. So what you would like to say on this point?
PhD abroad, it's all about the mindset actually. Yes, as I said, that the funding situation in India is still not, we are still catching up with the world. I would still say, so you would find better funding opportunities abroad, better work opportunities abroad as well. But then there is one thing which is common in both the cases, whether you stay in India or whether you go abroad. That is your own mindset. I know a lot of people who have stayed. I can name who are my colleagues only, who are working in different fields, and they also stayed back. It's all about the mindset actually, because at the end of the day, what you want to do in your PhD is your own work. You go abroad, it's also your own work. Nobody is going to spoon feed you. Your supervisor abroad will not spoon feed you into doing your work. Here also, nobody bothers about your work. You have to do your own work. So whether you are doing it here or whether you are doing it there, it makes no difference. Regarding the facilities, yes, the facilities abroad are definitely better in comparison to what we have currently in our own country. But definitely you can see that there is some shift, that we are moving ahead. We are building new infrastructure. We are moving in the right direction, I feel. Though there are some things which I would definitely want things to reconsider in our science politics, that there are some directions I think which we should look into, which we are not currently, and that is related to the infrastructure building only. But doing PhD here and doing PhD abroad, the only difference would be the facility partly, and your connections. That's it. So you can build your connections by doing your PhD here also, you can build connections by doing PhD abroad as well. Work is work. Like you may get like based on the faculties that are associated with the current, like in the current field over here, like in batteries. Faculties who are working abroad, you may get your papers published in a better journal than from here. But the quality of the work does not change actually, if you look at it. So the quality of the work is same. Over here, whatever work you do, and over there, whatever work you will be doing, they will be the same. Because that's the work that you will be doing. So it's all about your mindset. Regarding where it is getting published and where it is everything, like people get bothered about the metrics so soon in their career, which I feel is not good. Like you should not get bothered by the metrics so early in your career. Rather, you should learn and learn and learn.
From your experience in last 4 or 5 years, specifically in your research, what are the changes or improvements you would like to suggest if you are a person who has the authority to suggest?
Honestly, if you ask me, we are too dependent on the technologies that are adopted by other countries, and we do not believe our own results. For example, if I do something and I get my own results, I say, like most of the researchers in our country also, they question their own thing, like someone else has not said it. It is against that. So I would rather they would like to play safe, I would say. That's called playing safe. We are in that comfort zone right now. That we are not we are not pouncing at the opportunity. Like if we are planning to move into the, say, in my field only, if you are planning to move into building, if you are moving into electric vehicles and reducing the carbon footprint, then why are we not building the infrastructure according to what we want rather than what others want, like what others are doing? So we are too focused on what others are doing and we forget at what we should do. What is the best thing for us? We forget that. So China has built their own lithium economy. We are still pondering on how to do it. For us, lithium might not be the correct answer, but we are copying others and building into a lithium economy. Rather than utilizing the resources that we have and using them to the best possible manner, we are somehow trying to copy others. And that might not be the best approach, in my opinion. That is obviously my opinion.
Yes, that was your own.
But there are other policies and other factors that are also involved. Sure. But in my opinion, I would rather feel that we should look into what we have and then build things according to those.
Do your work and stand with it.
Yeah.
That's it.
We should be proud of our work. That's it.
This is for the students and for the people who wants to have a career in this research, specifically in your area of work. So what would you like to suggest to them?
Only one suggestion, that is study the fundamentals. Applications are diverse. If you know your basics, if you know your fundamentals, you would see that lithium-ion battery is no different than lead-acid battery. It's no different from your solid-state semiconducting electrochemical systems. Electrochemistry can also be used in the form of gas sensors, thermodynamics and other things. These are all the basic concepts that are there. So if your basics are good, be it lithium-ion batteries, sodium-ion batteries, or magnesium-ion, calcium, or lead-acid, or any form of batteries, vanadium redox flow batteries, you would see that the concepts are same. You can apply them. So grill your basics, polish your basics, that's it. No other suggestion. Your basics should be crystal clear.
Okay,
because currently our science is applied sciences, not basic sciences. So if you're very good in your basic sciences, your applied sciences will be automatically good.
Yeah, throughout this discussion, if suppose I haven't asked something which is of importance, like relevant to the discussion, and you think that would be good for the listeners, if you want to add up something.
Yeah. Try to learn more and new things. Like it would be like, do not be restricted by something. For example, because the world is vast, the knowledge is vast. So currently in my field, also in the field of batteries, to predict the cycle life of the real life battery systems, people are adopting concepts from computer science. Machine learning models are being developed to predict the battery cycle life, to improve the batteries, existing batteries only, on what protocols to follow so as to improve their properties. I am personally I am also looking into very different things. As I said, I am working on vanadium based compounds for this thing, for battery. And I am looking into natural minerals, naturally occurring minerals, which are naturally found in the earth, and trying to see if they have any potential to be used as cathode materials. I am generating my ideas, or I'm making my guesses by studying their structures, which is something which a geologist would do. Or if you want to develop into a new electrolyte systems, it would be a hybrid, like you adopt concepts from chemical engineering as well, like transport phenomena. You have to be very good with that concepts. So be bold and learn new things. Do not restrict yourselves. That would be the only suggestion. Like, try to learn and more things, and try to innovate. And for that, you have to, as I said, when you come into a PhD, you see that everything is merged. Somewhere I'm using Nyquist plots in this thing, whereas the EIS, electrochemical impedance spectroscopy, the fundamentals of this thing is based on electrical engineering. So you have to study that, and everything is completely linked actually, if you look at it.
Right. Ajit,
density functional theory, another example is good example is density functional theory, quantum mechanics. A chemist is also using, a physicist is using, a material scientist like me is also using molecular dynamics. So everything is linked actually, if you look at it. So be bold and be brave, and this thing. Don't shy away from a challenge. That's the only thing.
So thank you, Arijit. And those were the only questions from my side, and I think you had given very crystal clear and very to the point justification to all these questions, and I hope we'll meet again in the future for with some specific topics, since whatever the discussion I had with you today is very general discussion. And since the point and the place where you said the things you do, you have a lot more things to discuss, to deliver.
Yeah, definitely.
So hopefully I'll meet you again. I'll approach you again to have a very specific discussion on your area of work. And
sure.
I would like to see you again in the future. And thank you for giving time for this discussion.
Yeah. Thank you for holding this discussion from my end.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.